getting into the topics for today. So, the main story that's been breaking and causing a lot of controversy at the moment, particularly with one person's reaction to it, not the issue itself, but the wider issue at play, which I'll get into in a moment. I think this person has been, a lot of people missed the actual point that this person was making when he said what he said. The post is no longer up on X, actually, but what happened was there was an incident that happened in Scotland recently, which has led to some people, calling this now 14-year-old girl. It's a 14-year-old girl, and I've forgotten her name at that time of recording. I do apologize. A 14-year-old girl had to defend herself and her sister, who was a 12-year-old, I believe, from foreign predators, I believe, adult foreign predators, a Muslim male in particular, and also I believe it was a female that was with him, who wanted to do heinous things to this 12-year-old girl, right? This was in Lochee up in Scotland. I hope I'm saying that right. It's Lochee, okay, one word. So it might be Lochee, I don't know, or Lochee. I'm not sure how to pronounce the Scottish name. Maybe some of the Scottish guys I've had on the podcast, if you're listening, can help me out with how to pronounce this, right? I had great trouble with one of my interviews in the past with James Monroe, where he mentioned some of the work that he was doing with the Homeland Party as an activist, for example, up in a place known as Forfar, as he would say. So I had great difficulty trying to spell that and find where that place was from initially. Anyway, there was a 14-year-old girl who had to brandish a axe and a knife as defense against these people who were encroaching on her. As predictably, ladies and gentlemen, the adult predators in this instance, nothing was happened to them. I don't believe they were arrested or charged or anything like that. The girl, however, was indeed arrested, and she's been, quote, reported to the relevant authorities. So reporting now from the Courier, which I believe is a Scottish outlet. This was written and posted on the afternoon of August 24th. Girl 14 charged after bladed weapon incident in Dundee. Police were called to St. Anne in Lochee on Saturday night. A 14-year-old girl has been charged after allegedly being caught with a bladed weapon in Dundee. Police were called to St. Anne Lane, just off Cooper Angus Road in Lochee, shortly after 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. It followed reports of a girl having a bladed weapon. Several police cars attended the scene at the Balgay Street car park following the report. At around 7:40 p.m. on Saturday, we received a report of a female youth with a bladed weapon in St. Anne Lane, Dundee. A Police Scotland spokesperson has reported. Officers attended and a 14-year-old girl was charged in connection. She will be reported to the relevant authorities, which can only presumably means that they're going to do everything they can to make this girl's life a living hell. But you'll notice there, ladies and gentlemen, you did not learn the fact that it was these young girls being preyed upon by this, and footage we're going to show in a minute doesn't make that explicitly clear either, apart from the fact that the wider situation is you have a group of adults encroaching on young children, and these teens in this instance now are having to brandish weapons to defend themselves. That should tell you all you need to fucking know, really, especially when you learn that people are foreigners. But you never would have known that unless you'd seen this post, which I'm going to read for you now, from the mother of one of the friends of the girls in question, right? They got attacked by two people in Lochee. They were trying to chat up this girl who's 12 years old, and it was the sister of the girl in question. So she told them to leave her alone, and the two of them allegedly jumped on her. My daughter was with her and called the police. And obviously, in the reporting afterwards, there's been no mention the fact that these girls were threatened, and many people then outright tried to say that they were the aggressors, right? The children defending themselves from adults in this instance, they're the aggressors. Yes, of course they are. But this is the video in question, ladies and gentlemen, that's been making the rounds on social media and has spawned all manner of now AI drawings of this girl being, heralded up as the new Boudica and the new Queen of Scots, right? We'll look at some of that artwork in a moment. But this is the video which has 23.4 million views online of the young girls having to defend themselves because obviously, as we know, the authorities, which are a massive problem, we'll be getting onto those later on in this episode with the recent reports from Rupert Lowe and the rape gang inquiry into local authorities, they won't do anything. The police won't do anything. It's on now the girls or the females in many instances to do it themselves, outside men that obviously will protect them at great risk to themselves in the two-tier society that we live in. But here is the video coming on screen for you.
Yeah, she have a knife.
We are fucking wealthy. We're fucking bad in kids.
Why are you fucking with
These
us?
are fucking kid bashers.
Show the knife. Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get away from us.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch him.
That's it. That's it. Show the knife.
Don't touch my little sister.
Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister. She is fucking 12. We're jumping up. We've all fucking battery. She is fucking 12 and you just battered me. Bring like fucking battered me.
Yeah, show the knife. Maracha, man.
So that's basically the video, right? And apologies if you hear a little bit of like a rumbling in the background or whatever, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a fan on in the corner of the room and I need it on because it's been boiling. Well, when I tried to record this episode yesterday, I could not stop sweating. I think that's why, because the in the room that I have to record these in, the ventilation is not always the best. Do try to keep the window open, but the ventilation and the quality of the room is not the best, right? Obviously being very, very small in operation, not having a dedicated studio or anything like that. It's difficult to manage, temperature and humidity and all of these other factors, right? And that's why I end up having to scratch my face to no end, right? But this is the image that has been, ingrained in the brain of particularly the Scots, obviously, but every British man, woman at the moment, aside from those who are suicidally empathetic and cheering this on, right? This is the kind of image that's been ingrained in their brain and has spawned all, manner of artistic liberty with, comparing her to the Queen of Scots or the next person that's going to lead the rebellion of Britain, right? All of these things. We'll look at some of the things which I'm talking about in a moment. But this just shows how far we've fallen as a society, doesn't it? And how much we've let both ourselves go in terms of our morals and principles, which is what Andrew was getting at with his post, which is no longer up on X, but I'll read you some of the follow-ups in a moment. But also now how much danger that we're in. And obviously, largely due to a complete political betrayal. This is now the fruits of the harvest that we have sown, the fruits of the seeds that we have sown, right, and have been sown mainly by our political class that have betrayed us time and time and time again in the name of diversity, in the name of inclusion, in the name of all of these other buzzwords, multiculturalism, etc. These people, these disgusting, evil people that are at the heads of bringing these agendas down, don't care how many children have to be sacrificed. These children are evil oppressors anyway, by virtue of things that they have no control over, simply by virtue of where they are born, their ancestry, their skin color, etc. They have unearned privilege and all the rest of it. You're seeing the fruits of the leftist agenda coming through now. The good thing is it is radicalizing more and more people to the cause. You won't get something much more radicalizing than seeing a young girl having to brandish a massive kitchen knife and an axe to defend her younger sister from these disgusting foreign predators. Well, the police do nothing, and in many instances now they arrest and charge the young girl and report her to the relevant authorities. With the relevant authorities, we report the disgusting predators to, right? I see. It does seem in many instances now we don't have them. We don't have them. And as a result, these people become emboldened. These people become emboldened, as we'll see from stats with the Telegraph later. Alarming rises in migrant crime, right? But this is what radicalized a lot of people. And if you wanted an image, again, to radicalize people to go even further into the right side, we're already, if you don't have pure adherence to leftist party orthodoxy at this point, you're classed as far right anyway. If you wanted to really radicalize people to going extreme lengths down that road, right, this is a perfect way to do it. This is a perfect way to do it. And the people that were coming here were told they're just the same as us and whatever. They're just dreamers or whatever. They really don't make the best case for themselves and things like this happen, do they? So this is what's been happening in Scotland recently. As you can imagine, there's been international outrage about this. I believe even Elon Musk reposted it. And the stuff that came out of the rape gang inquiry with regards to 85 local councils that we'll be going over later on in the show emerged from Rupert Lowe's inquiry. inquiry. I believe he also reposted those as well, right? So it is getting international traction. That's why they want to crack down on information so much in this country. Make no mistake, nothing of this nature will make the government, in any way capitulate to what's going on, or in any way reverse track in what's going on. They are extremists. They are fanatics. They are religious zealots for this stuff, right? They are religious zealots for this stuff, and they will pursue it at any cost rather, because obviously we'll be bearing the cost in the end anyway. So this is the incident that happened. Obviously, it's truly tragic and truly, an indictment on the society that we're in. A lot of this would have been, solved with having something like a Second Amendment and stuff like that, and an actually, morally upright nation and stuff like that, and people. But then you do have, again, speaking of foreigners not making good cases for themselves, people like Dilly Hussein, who thought it was prudent in the aftermath of this to instead compare child rape and girls having to use weapons to defend themselves against sexual groomers and rapists to foreigners having to defend themselves against supposedly racist thugs, equating racism and child rape, which, as you can imagine, did not go down very well. This post, by the way, has 177,000 views and only 789 likes on it. The comment to like ratio is insane. It has more comments than likes, right? And somebody commented on it, and in 23,000 views has gained over 5,000 likes. So yeah, tells you a lot about the sentiment with regards to this post. But what he was responding to was Tommy Robinson posted this: weak politicians, authorities, and a full two-tier system rigged against them, a legacy media demonizing the narrative at every given turn in favor of the invader, all under the guise of tolerance. Young girls have been forced to fend for themselves on their own streets. 100% true. And this is the image in question that was shared on that post. So this is an example of the artwork that's coming out at the moment from this incident. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking on screen, there's a Scottish flag in the background of a nice Scottish countryside landscape, right? It looks, was like either a painting or like a pencil drawing, basically. It's in color, and it's a young girl wearing, the black night t-shirt, the ripped jeans, and a like a sashy kind of Scottish traditional material, seemingly looped over the shoulder, right? Looks like something out of Braveheart, basically, with blue face paint. Right, blue face paint and an axe in the one hand and a short sword in the other, grimacing as if she's about to go charging into battle, right? These are the kind of things that have been coming out at the moment that people have been either creating or using AI to create, whatever it may be. There was another one that was posted, I believe, in the comments section. Let's see if I can find it now. So this is another type of one that has come out of this incident, and people are really rallying around this. So this is an example, ladies and gentlemen. It's the young girl. It's more like a watercolor kind of painting. It has a Scottish flag painted on her jumper. Again, the short sword in one hand, the axe in the other. It says, if she can stand, so can you. And a lot of us do need to have more courage. A lot of us are not lacking in courage. For example, we know that the system that's been put in place has been deliberately rigged against us. And we're wondering, in many instances, a lot of people are wondering, what are they supposed to do? Because if they do take action, they'll get thrown in prison. If they do in prison, they can't protect their family anyway. But this is going to happen if they don't do anything, because the criminals are going to feel more emboldened, right? That's why the societal breakdown has been as damaging as it is. And then bringing in people like Dilly, definitely not good for our society, where he says Tommy is justifying the possession of knives and axes in public with intent to use against sexual groomers and rapists. This is the same as someone encouraging Muslims, migrants, people of color to possess knives and axes to defend themselves in public against racist thugs. Obviously, they don't need any kind of racism in order to do that. We saw that happen when people got angry. And people got angry after Southport when we had the, basically the latest Islamic terror attack on British soil, which claimed the lives of 3 young girls in one of the most brutal fashions we've ever seen, and injured several more. It didn't take much for the Muslim Defense League, quote unquote, to go out with, weapons and terrorize communities, all in black with balaclavas and all the rest of it, right? These people, let me tell you, these people do not need a reason. And the people that share this, framework of thinking have no place at all in our societies. But our government, for some reason, in our societies, bending over backwards for these people in the name of inclusion, in the name of multiculturalism, in the name of all of these things, to the extent where, right, to the extent... Now, this broke yesterday, so I wouldn't have actually seen this when this was recorded yesterday. To the extent now, mind you, that one of the most dangerous jihadis has just been released from prison in the UK, and apparently he will not even be deported despite him being the leader of an Al-Qaeda cell that was arrested in England attempting to blow up the London Stock Exchange. A man by the name of Mohammed Shahjahan. I hope I'm saying that right for the sake of people being able to go and find this guy, learn more about him, but I really don't care if I'm mispronouncing his name. Here's Patrick Christie's from GB News reporting on this. The fact that we have decided that we're just going to keep this guy around and let him go free into our communities as if he's going to be in any way reformed, as if he's going to be in any way changed whatsoever. This is the kind of suicidal empathy that we're talking about, that we would inflict this on our own people in the name of what? Tolerance? You got to be fucking kidding me.
Yes, good evening. I can exclusively reveal that one of Britain's most dangerous jihadi terrorists is now a free man.
My name is Mohammed Shahjahan. I'm 25 years old and I come from Stoke-on-Trent. Many people have called myself a radical, a fundamentalist, maybe a terrorist even sometimes. But if they say that I'm a terrorist because I'm calling for my faith, then fair enough. It doesn't mean nothing to me, because if anything, it shows that I'm on the footstep of the Prophet Muhammad, because he was called a terrorist, a fundamentalist as well.
Yeah. So that is Mohammed Shahjahan. He is the Islamist who tried to blow up the London Stock Exchange, and he has just been released from prison. Yes, that was him appearing in a BBC documentary prior to him being convicted, by the way. He was friends with the Fishmongers Hall jihadi Usman Khan, the Islamist who claimed to have been rehabilitated before stabbing 2 young people to death and being shot dead by police. For some reason...
So there we are, right? Apologies, gentlemen. I realised I had my microphone muted in order to not have the fan sound in the background interfering with that. This kind of stuff we're dealing with. We're literally a perfect example there. The second guy that he mentions, I don't know his name, I've forgotten his name, something Khan, wasn't it? You know, saying that he'd been rehabilitated and then went on to attack 2 people, right? And you saw the footage of it there, I believe. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Or more prudently, why are our political class doing this? Obviously, they see these people, because we've done everything, which is going to lead us on to my next point, in the name typically, or in the name rather, of feminism and rejecting the society that we had for, 2,000 years or whatever, rejecting the societal norms that we had for 2,000 years that actually led to society being what it was and actually continuing and not extinguishing its own existence. Right? In the name of rejecting that, in the name of things like progress, right? Progressivism and feminism and all of this stuff, right? We've now... I kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute. We upended our society and are now bending over backwards for these people who are not, who are not taking themselves out of the gene pool by, having 200,000+, at the moment, abortions every year, right? That are killing off 23 or nearly 30%, 28% of the generation, my generation that should have been here, right? We're talking 800 to 900 million people that are not here because they were terminated in the womb. Right. And it wasn't, Muslims like this doing that. Right. They are actually a very pro-natal culture. Right. That's why they want to bring them in. They are bending over backwards for foreign families to bring them here whilst they're trying to extinguish yours. Right, that should tell you all you need to know. If you enjoyed that clip, then make sure to go on over to the Voice of the Valleys X page at VOT_Valleys on X. We're also on Instagram at Voice of the Valleys. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Godspeed.